Hello,
Are
hello,
we live yet?
everybody, and fucking like not even 10 seconds in. Welcome to the Sweaty Casuals podcast, episode 9. Oh, as we can see, Zion is well, we don't know where he is. He's died again. Probably
Hello, Seth.
fell
Hi,
asleep.
Seth.
Hi, Seth. Um, we are talking primarily this week about Baldur's Gate because that's pretty much what most people have been playing. Has anybody been playing anything other than Baldur's Gate for the past 2 weeks?
Nothing. Just daily stuff.
No, just trying to finish it before Starfield drops, which ain't gonna happen.
It's like the big rush for you, isn't it?
It is. It pisses me off that this should have been out in July. You know, then I would have had more time. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I feel like I'm not gonna be done with it when Starfield drops, and then I feel like I'm gonna start getting antsy, and I'm gonna start trying to rush it, and I don't
If
want
you're
to.
lucky, if you're lucky, Starfield will run like crap, and you'll have to wait a couple of months till it's fixed anyway.
True.
So you'll have plenty of time.
No,
I, mean,
not gonna happen.
I feel like though, I feel like Starfield's not going to have too big of a campaign to it. I feel like it's not going to be.
Well,
It's not going to be too much of a big deal
Who
to
plays
have.
those games for the campaign, though? Let's be honest.
Yeah, but like
yeah.
until the mods really get rolling, I feel like Starfield's. It's not going to be too bad playing it alongside Baldur's Gate. You're not going to really have like too much of your time dedicated towards
I disagree.
Starfield.
I think it's the main story isn't gonna take long, but all of the side stuff will usually takes a lot longer.
I mean, look at my position. I only play a couple hours Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and as is, I'm only getting maybe like 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours at night. Tuesday it's just night, and that's only like 2 hours because I work. So just rough estimation, maybe like 10, 15 hours total that I get to play on the game. And now I got to cut that in half for a game that's going to take me even, possibly longer to do stuff in. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
you're right though. You're right. I think what my plan is going to be is when it drops, I'm gonna delve into it and play it a little here and there, but I'm not going to get too crazy with it until Baldur's Gate is done.
yeah. What I think is that I'll probably sink a bunch of time into Starfield when it first comes out. Maybe play it for a week, 2, and then I'll go back to Baldur's Gate because then I'll have kind of gotten because that'll be like the Starfield playthrough for me done, and then I'll just be waiting for mods after that, where I can really start to fuck with the game.
No, I just won't be playing it at all, so I can
Why?
just keep playing.
Are you not getting
I
it?
have no.
How does that make you feel, Koshi?
He knows that already.
I've come to terms with that a long time ago.
I'm waiting to see how it is, and I'm expecting it to be not the best. I'm not expecting it to be another Fallout 76, but I'm expecting engine-wise it to be on par with Fallout 4, and I don't need to play that
It's
type
improved
of
though, isn't
engine
it?
straight away.
Isn't it improved from Fallout 4?
Supposedly.
Supposedly,
supposedly, yeah.
So far, I
how
haven't
much
seen any.
improvement has?
Yeah,
I
I'm
do
not. I'm
know
not really.
I do know that the version you're downloading is like version 1.6. So it's already gone through a lot of updates since it was supposed to be released last November.
Right.
So
I'm just kind of waiting to see how streamers and everything were like without PR behind it, how it plays.
Yeah.
Just from regular people, and then I'll decide how much of my hype it's worth or not worth. Because it's gonna be I don't know quite know. Koshi will know the release dates better, but I think the Cyberpunk expansion is coming out around the same time, I believe.
Yeah, that's gonna be taking
And
up
I
its time
haven't
as
played
well.
Cyberpunk either yet, and if that's good, I'm like, well, I've already paid for that game, and I've
Yeah.
know that's been improved over the years. So if that turns out to be good, I'm just gonna play Cyberpunk and
If I
keep
were
my
funky, first off, I'd shave my beard. But if I were funky,
Ooh.
what
okay,
I
I
would
can't believe
do,
he just said that.
I don't like beards.
yeah.
Uh, if I were funky, I would
I
stick
wouldn't
with
have one, but I
Cyberpunk
appreciate
first.
them.
And if, Starfield looks good enough to try it out,
Yeah.
I mean, he's already got so many games right now that are
Yeah, I still
big
gotta go.
games
I still
that
gotta
are
go
going to take
through
a
Red
while to play
Dead.
through. Yeah, Red Dead.
That's
Uh,
Elden Ring.
yeah,
So Starfield isn't
Furry
really,
Hitler.
yeah, 1 and 2.
So, I mean,
So it's not
I
really
would stick with ones that are already done.
and proven to
And
be good. That's what I'm
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like. I
Cyberpunk,
hope for. Go ahead. Sorry.
that drops in October. I think the 25th. Not
All right, so it's
sure.
late October
Something
at
like
least.
that. September. Yeah, late September. Yeah,
Late
No,
September
it's
or late
October.
October.
No, it's
late
October.
September. Wasn't it late September? Like you
No.
said, 25th ish. Or did I?
Let me just double check, but I'm pretty sure it's October. Cyberpunk 2077. Phantom Liberty release.
I'm expecting that to be really good. The big update.
Oh, it is September 26th. They must have moved it up. Because I think the original, when they announced it, was earlier in spring. I think it was the 25th. I think it was
Could
October.
be. Maybe they change it with
They
the
could have.
all of the stuff. But so yeah, I'm kind of like, oh,
Shit, that's even
that's
sooner
fair.
than I thought. Fuck me.
So I'm just like, I'm hoping for everybody that is excited for Starfield that it is at least you can run it well and all of that, and it's like I'm not expecting a masterpiece engineering wise from the thing because that's not going to be possible with that engine. But I'm hoping it's at least playable and people have fun with it without too many problems. So we'll see how it goes, but
Yeah. You know what? I'm actually okay with it. I'm actually okay with Cyberpunk dropping so early because I'm not gonna. I wasn't gonna play it in October anyway, and so this will give me time to finish Baldur's Gate, then play Starfield Vanilla, and while I'm playing Starfield Vanilla, it'll allow people to get more mods out for the updated Cyberpunk with Phantom Liberty.
Here's a
So then
here's a
when I
quick
finally get
question
to, huh? What's that?
regarding Cyberpunk. Do you think it's after the update drops? Do you think it's a good idea to restart it, like play it through again?
I think
Uh,
that's usually the best because they're changing
'Cause
a lot of some of the mechanics at least.
yeah.
are they
You're
changing
you're
any of the
probably
original
better
story
off.
or anything though?
No, the original story is the same, though they are adding a new ending, apparently.
Oh, okay.
The original story is the same, but like Funky said, a lot of the mechanics are going to change. The game is going to play differently.
Hmm.
It's going to play more in line like Cyberpunk, the rule set,
Okay.
and it's going to be almost kind of a completely different experience. You could still experience most of that or almost all of that, just continuing from a saved game you've already got going. But I think you'll get the best experience if you restart. And I am going to restart anyway because my save game is kind of borked as it is. And like game wise, not like, I didn't screw up a file or something, but
Yeah.
like I made choices I didn't like in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I had just left off starting a new route. I wanted to try one of the other options. And yeah, so we'll see.
Fair do. Because I've got a save that's I pretty much right before the final mission. So I was just thinking about maybe making a new save file and playing through, just to because at this point I've forgotten most of what I like the story was. To be honest, it's been a little
Right.
while since I last played it.
I mean, even if just to experience one of the other origins, if you will,
Yeah, but
it's
apparently
probably
there's
worth
not
it.
really apparently there's not that much difference between which origin you pick.
the majority of the differences are all the way in the beginning,
Yeah.
but later on throughout the game, there are one or two like options that pop up because like you're a corpo, so like you
Yeah,
might
that's
get
what
one
I
extra
went.
dialogue option like 5 hours into the game or 25 hours into the game. Yeah, it's real limited, but the intros are pretty cool though. I've seen all three, and I had saves for two of them.
I do. Yeah, I'll probably make a. I'll probably make a new save then, just to go through it, see what the updates have improved.
You know, you do that.
I will.
Good idea. That's a good idea. You do that.
I will. Corpo was from what I was hearing, Corpo was actually one of the better options, origins to pick from.
That's the one I start. That's the one my main game was on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was just I have nothing to compare it to.
That's just what I'm going like from people that have played the other ones. They were saying like Corpo was got a few of the more interesting options from like dialogues and things like that. Like because you're dealing a lot with obviously the corpo side of the world. So your corpo insight gives you like some unique dialogues options here and there.
Yeah, I think also I don't remember what they call it, but I think the Nomad version does as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or people react to you differently because you're a Nomad.
Yeah.
But again, even with the corpo, those extra dialogue options come up once in a blue moon.
What was the third one? There's Nomad, Corpo, and what?
Uh,
Like a
trying to
street,
remember.
like a street kid kind of thing.
Think so?
I have no idea.
I don't remember, but that's the one I didn't save.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
I didn't save. I was gonna officially do a corpo one, or I'm sorry, Nomad one next, but then I just stopped.
Yeah. Around the time I wanted to like maybe try and finish the game was like the next day. Basically, they announced that they were working on the big update and like fixing a bunch of things, and I just thought there was no point in me going back to it. Then I'll be kind of going through a subpar experience. I might as well just wait until the update's out and then experience the game closer to their actual vision for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I doubt it's going to be exactly how they wanted it, like from the like from the drawing board kind of thing. No game ever is, but I hope this is just like as close as they can get it to how they were envisioning it.
That's what they're saying, and I'm still wondering how well it's really gonna be. But compared to how it was, it's definitely gonna be an improvement.
Yeah.
Just kind of. I don't want to say like because I hear it's a good game now, but everybody's acting like it is gonna be like, oh, this because of what they're saying. But this is how they meant it to be, and I'm still kind of skeptical about that because that's a good way to kind of sell it and make people go, oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Now, if it's true, yeah, then fair enough. But you hear it plenty of times, and it's not true, or it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's better,
Maybe
but
their vision just sucks. Huh.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, could be.
So that is also an option. So I'm just kind of like, yeah. I mean, like, I'm expecting it. Obviously, I have nothing to compare it to, but I'm just also not trying to get overhyped. Like, oh, this is going to change everything, and my expectations needs to be expecting a 10 out of 10, which is what the usual hype people do.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll just enjoy it and enjoy it for what it is without all of the hype, which I think is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's either gonna be no, it still sucks, or it's oh my god, everything is great now, and oh my god, best game of the past 600-700 years. And I'm kind of like, yeah, no. it's probably going to be neither of those. It's probably just going to be a good game that has its improvement, and it's might go into a great game.
I agree.
Yeah.
Has
I
anybody
think that's the safest way to go about it.
has anybody here played Detroit Become Human?
No, but I watched Internet Historian play it.
No, I had
Right.
no interest in it.
I do, and I've had it in my library for a while. I've just never gotten around to actually playing it.
If you
Is
just
it?
want a story, it's very good. If you care about the options, don't be surprised when everything ends up in the same spot.
There's not like much variation to the story path.
That's why Internet Historian did it, and he literally played it normally first, and then tried to fail everything, and it was just constantly like the game just would not let him fail. Like, no, 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 you got to do this. Like, he went through. There's a part where you have to cross a highway, and he literally just put his controller away, and he still made it to the other side. It's like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, but it's more
Either
about the
just complain about that about not moving, or just
yeah, but
have him fail.
that's just like silly quick time events, right? It's just kind of there to keep the player engaged a bit. But I assume there's got to be some differences in what dialogue options you choose.
Yeah, but that's also part of the thing, because you kind of keep switching between stories. It's kind of like you go back to a certain fragment in time, and you see a different outcome. So that's just part of the gameplay to begin with.
Right.
That said, if it is your kind of thing, I'm told it's pretty good. I kind of like having actual effects in my story of things I've chosen, and if the game is just like, no, we're still just gonna go with this. That was my problem with Telltale games as well. The two that I played, where it felt like it didn't really matter anyway, because I wanted to tell this story, and yeah, maybe I got a slightly different ending, but that was always going to be the ending the way they wanted to tell it. And I just get like, oh, this one survived, or ooh, I'm in trouble now with this person, but everything else just kind of stayed the same.
Yeah, I can't really think of any games that
Hold on.
give the full freedom like that. I mean,
I mean, it's I don't mind it if you actually fail and it's like, oh, game over. All right, fine, yeah, good. I chose to fail there.
yeah, but majority of the players aren't gonna like that when they're playing like like an hour into the game, they make one wrong choice and now they're either their favorite character dies or it's game over, and it's like, what the fuck? I could see why I mean they're telling a story, and certain things have to happen regardless of your input to get the story narrative told. You may get a good ending, you may get a bad ending, you may get an okay ending, but there's always going to be an ending, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, and
That's kind of why I don't like those
in
games.
large in large story beats, I agree that it's always going to go down a
Yeah.
certain, like, you got to get to the end of the act and everything like that. But even if the small things you do don't really matter that much, it's kind of like, come on.
Well, that's why I liked the originally. I liked the Dark Pictures trilogy because the little things, did matter. You had like a cast of like 6 or 7 characters. Those little things that you did, you know, that means that not all of them, if any of them, are going to make it to the end. You can get to an
That
ending where there's only one character left, but
that
in the
was a
later games, that stopped.
yeah. That was hit or miss in general with them, because I remember another streamer that I watched. They played it co-op, and they tried just okay. We did this the way we wanted to. Just regular playthrough, not going through anything. It's not a long game. Let's just see if you try to kill people as fast as possible. And there's- I think it took them an hour and a half or something like that before they really got to kill the first character off, repeatedly trying to kill him off as fast as possible by
Well,
every choice.
the way those games are made, the choices that you make throughout the game don't necessarily mean, that you're going to get an outcome right there, but that choice or fail, if you will affect you, down the line. I've seen,
it kind of tips the balance bit by bit.
yeah, I've seen 3 playthroughs of Until Dawn, and while they're not drastically different, they are different. And then the first 3 games in the original trilogy were pretty different in who survived, who didn't survive, because you were running and you didn't hit the quick time event in time, and so your character tripped, but the killer didn't kill you. But that also means that when that character comes back around for you to play again, they're most likely going to die because, as Gannon said, things were tipping against your character, and that's all that stuff adds up. But even then, I mean, yeah, you might get a different ending, but is it really that different? Not really.
No, not really. No.
It's either a good ending or a bad ending. They're all traumatized, or they're all happy, or girl's sad because her boyfriend didn't make it, or the boy is sad because the girlfriend didn't make it.
But in the end,
But
still happy that they made it.
yeah, but the point of playing those games is just to be told a story.
It's going through it.
Yeah, it's just going through it, and having, because it's a game, you got to have some input.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to play those 3 games with you. But
I just
then the last 2 games that they did, I can't remember, the werewolf one that I wanted to play last year,
Oh yeah, I think I remember vaguely. Yeah.
and that one they just made, that was the B team who did that, because the main team was doing a 4th game in the
Yeah, in the
trilogy.
trilogy, yeah. As
Yeah.
you did.
And that
Hold
one
on
was
a
with
second. The
well,
fourth
they were
game in the
originally
trilogy.
Sony. They did it until Dawn, and because it was a success, Sony had them, gave them, a 3-game contract. And the first 2 sold so well that while they were working on the 3rd one, they hired more people to work on another game alternatively, which was the werewolf one. And the game itself wasn't bad. I liked the idea, but the characters were annoying. The decisions they make were annoying. The things that happened in the game were illogical. It was just like, I'm just watching this now just to see how it
Yeah.
ends. That's pretty much it.
And the problem a little bit is also they're trying to go for the cheap horror slasher thing as well. So s- sometimes that's hit or miss. Because is it bad on purpose or is it just bad? So you don't really know how to feel about it at times.
Yeah, well, I'll give you an example between how they used to be and how they were, how they became. This is going to be a minor spoiler. Well, it's not a minor spoiler; it's a pretty major spoiler. But the game's been out for a while, and we're not going to play it, and I don't think Seth's going to play it.
Yeah.
And
It's those that
the spoilers already out over the internet, so you guys probably already know it. But one of the nice things that they did with the series, with the exception of Until Dawn, was that they always had like a supernatural entity feeling to them.
Mm, mm.
In the first game, I believe it was the Man of Medan, and it was a ghost ship. The second
Yeah, I
game,
think
it
so, yeah.
was some like Sleepy Hollow kind of type game where the
Isn't it
town
the
was
cabin one? The cabin, or is that the third one?
the cabin one.
Where you're in the mines and stuff like that.
That might be Until Dawn.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, that's Until Dawn. That's one where you're in the cabin, but that one actually had supernatural elements to it. The third one actually did have supernatural elements in it, but the first 2 didn't, but it made you feel like they did. Like the second one, this is where the example comes in, which is a spoiler. So for anyone who does not want to hear the spoiler, come back in
Spoiler, here's a
about
spoiler.
2 minutes. All right, I'll make it quick. All right,
Yep.
starting in 3, 2, 1. All
Clock
right.
is ticking.
So yeah, I know. I was giving them time to skip. God damn it! Now I got less than 2 minutes. Shut the fuck up.
It's ticking. Come on, hurry up.
the example is you're a bus driver taking people through I think like somewhere on the east coast of America, and you go through one of the villages or townships that were, like the witches that got burnt in Salem. It's sort of like that. This town is completely dead, and your bus crashes. You as the bus driver, the bus crashes, and you go through the whole game trying to keep everyone together, and you get split up, and these monsters start attacking your crew, and you got to try to keep them survive. The twist is, there's actually nobody there, and it's all in your head. That each person that you're trying to protect is like a voice of reasoning from the past because you went through trauma when you were a kid. The thing is, and why they did it so well, is because you do meet one or two different characters, and they act kind of oddball from your perspective. But then when you see the twist at the end, you realize from their perspective they're acting normal, and they didn't
Yeah.
change anything. They're acting normal, and you're the one that's acting goofy. And it was a real cool twist. Now, flash forward to the last game, to the werewolf game. I'm sorry, to the very last game. Spoiler over. Go to the
We
last
did it.
game. There's a scene where two women enter a room and they're being hunted by a serial killer. Chicago's first serial killer, the guy who created the murder
Hershey.
mansion. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were calling.
No. I thought the first
No,
serial
I said
killer
the
from
first. I said
Chicago.
the first.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't
You're the
been around
best.
that long.
Okay.
Time's up.
And I already gave the spoiler. Shut up.
Yeah, it's already done.
I don't even know if the time is up. I just felt like saying that it was.
So you have two characters, and the wall starts moving towards one of them to smash them, and you have to make a choice. And they give you like two choices, and it's one kills one person, one kills the other. But if you really look close, all right, you'll notice that so one woman is dying from gas, and she can't open her side of the door. The other woman on the other side of the wall, which is moving towards her,
I remember
she's going to
this.
get smashed by the wall. So you as the third person has to pick which one is going to die. Do you have the gas continue but the wall stops, or do you have the wall continue but the gas stops?
There's no way to kill them both.
Well, no, you basically have to choose. However, and this is
Bullshit.
bullshit. This is the bullshit cheating thing. There's actually a third option. If you look real closely, you'll see a little glitch on the other side of the room in a window where the window's actually kind of open a little, and you can then find a hidden prompt where you can tell them, the girl in the room with the gas, to go over and open the window. But unless you have like a 18K TV, that shows you every single mini pixel inside of a pixel, you cannot see that. And there's no prompt unless you are standing in the right spot. And it's like, it was so ridiculous. Like almost everybody failed that because it was so well hidden that there's no way you would have seen it. Nobody would have seen that. It was bullshit. I saw
Yeah.
2 different playthroughs of that game because the first person I watched kind of sucked at it and almost everybody died. Second one actually saved majority of them. But she only found it because she got lucky. Because she just happened to move her character to that position. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, what's this? But you have no reason to move the character to that position in the first place.
Yeah, I think same here.
It's just
Yeah,
sheer
so it's
luck.
like, it was so stupid.
Because I remember them getting it uh, straight away, but it was just pure luck.
Yeah, it was just so stupid. Like the game was always fair in the regard of what's going on in the screen. But it's like the last 2 games that they released, the A team and the B team who did the werewolf one, they were basically just cheating just to get the story told, is what it felt like.
Yeah, for me, it's the problem with those is it's more the way they have the things is like, oh, play it your way, and you have all of these X amount of different endings and all of that, and you know, speaking of Baldur's Gate, if you're gonna do that, you better make sure it is that. And 99.9% of the time when they say that, it isn't really like that. You get the Mass Effect thing of like, oh hey, we're taking into account every ending up until the ending of number 3, and then it's like, oh yeah, here's 3 choices. It's like that's how it ends up feeling, even if there's usually, like you say, some minor differences, but you're usually just like, yeah, no, it's like,
I will say though,
especially for the ones, it's like either you get the bad ending or the good ending, or the
in
well, they
Mass
died,
Effect,
but you tried.
in Mass Effect's defense, it's not a good defense, but it's some defense. If you consider the entire third game as the ending, and rather than just the ending of the third game as the ending, which is gonna sound weird, then it does make more sense to how things played out, because a lot of these the choices and things that you did in the previous games kind of happen over the course. Like they get wrapped up, or you see the endings over the course of the third game rather than in the final part of it.
Yeah, but I think and it's
The
been
ending is
ages,
still
so
bullshit, though. Like
I
I'm not
might I
defending that
might be
part.
wrong about this, but I think most people were going off like a quote from a developer where, oh, we've taken into account every every big choice you've made in
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
finale kind of thing, and maybe probably spoke there and kind of didn't mean it like that, but that's what people were expecting, and that's the
Yeah.
expectation that they said, and that wasn't really the case. So that's why it was just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was a
no.
letdown, but like you can it's a bit less of a letdown if you take the whole final game as like an ending piece,
Yeah,
rather than just the final act of it, because
no,
because I feel like a
that's
lot of
fair.
people went through the final game like playing it how they would any of the other ones, where it was like everything leading up to the final act in the third game is still part of like the lead up and your
Mm.
choices thing, where it wasn't really. It was every from the beginning of the final game was kind of like how they started to show that some of the previous choices would have different outcomes, and like different characters would have a different fate. And then it
Yeah,
like everything up to the final act was good, and then the final act where it was just the 3 color choices kind of sucked ass.
yeah.
But
And God baby just out of nowhere.
yeah, I fucking hated it. I hated that.
My
What was
biggest
it,
issue with the
child
third
thing?
game is that even though the head developer, who was the head developer at the time, came out and said it's not true, so it's been debunked. But I still believe the
Indoctrination theory.
indoctrination, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
because if it's not true, then there was a lot of stupid shit going on at the end of the game that just
yeah.
made no sense.
It's weird because I know that there's the counter argument is basically like, oh well, if you think too deeply about it, you can come up with a theory to anything that makes sense. And it's like, well, yeah, but the indoctrination theory actually had so much thought put into it that it did make a strange amount of sense despite being debunked. So even if you could literally just go, yeah, I don't care that you've debunked it, and go with that theory, and everything kind of falls into place.
Well, it's like
Yeah,
things
but that's
things
kind of cheating as well, I feel, because then you're just kind of going, well, let
well
me make my own
well
ending.
here's the but here's the alternative. Like I feel like nobody was working on the same story at the end.
Yeah,
You know, there's at one point the captain shows up, all right, then he gets shot, then he's okay afterwards, not shot again, and then he's gone.
yeah.
Yeah, that's still
Now,
very
did
disjointed.
did your character just hallucinate that whole thing, or was he really there? And if he was, where did he go? Because when the game ends, you never see him. So
Yeah,
was your character hallucinating? But your character has never shown signs of anything like that throughout 3 games up to that point. So it doesn't make sense for him to be hallucinating it. So when someone comes up with the idea of the indoctrination theory, and they like use that as evidence as to why it could be, not saying it is because it is a theory, why it could be indoctrination, that would make more sense, because the alternative, as I said, is you have like 5 people writing the ending to the game and nobody's on the same page. It's like
yeah,
Yeah.
this last Star Wars trilogy. You had 7, which didn't go into 8. 8 didn't equal 7, 9 is a completely different movie. It's so, screwed up, too many cooks in the kitchen. And it's like, well, I would rather think that there's some theory out there that kind of helps put it all together and make it make sense. But
I'll
then
be
when he
honest.
comes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I
I was
just
just gonna.
feel like go.
Like,
You
he
go
says
ahead.
me to
You
go,
were
and then he
busy.
goes anyway. God damn it. I was just gonna finish up and say I would rather believe that, even though I know it's not real, because it's been debunked by the head developer, or the writer. I'm sorry, not was it the developer or writer? I don't remember. He came out like in
I
2015
think
or
it's
something
probably
and
the
said it.
writer. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember. But it's like you really fucked up that bad. You weren't gonna explain any of that shit, and then you just let it go. I don't know.
I feel like it was Star Wars is a good example for it. It felt like people wrote certain parts of it, and it's like, oh, you're in charge of this character, so write the ending of your character, and then we'll just magically try to
We'll duct tape them together.
mix and match it together, and partially also, and I have zero evidence of this, but this is just gut feeling. Like it was like, okay, well, do we have the main story? Yeah, okay. Well, we got to get into production because EA wants it by this date, so we got to get moving on this. So onto other stuff. Just good enough, kind of, and that came back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah.
Because the ending that they changed, while it's still not, I wouldn't even go as far as good. Uh, it's at least better, and it takes into account those things. So I just feel like they also weren't given the time to really mesh it out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But,
Also, another thing to keep in mind too, because they don't release this information really, unless you go digging through it, is like the people who started writing the first game. Not all of them might have been around for the second or third
oh
one.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
100% they were
So
the lost members, especially when BioWare was going through their internal turmoils.
Yeah, and let's
yeah,
be honest. Let's be fair here as well. It was gonna be a difficult task to wrap it all, like wrap
Oh,
up
yeah, 100%.
three games either way. But they just
It was a
like
big undertaking for sure.
yeah, but they didn't even get close. Is what the
excuse me.
general feeling is. I would say.
I don't know, but it's in the past. Well,
Yeah,
until the new one comes out. Hopefully, when the new one
the
comes
new
out,
one. You mean?
yeah, the new one, because I
Yeah.
thought Andromeda was pretty decent. It was on an old
uh,
engine. The story was good.
I
It
did
had
not.
it.
I hated the story personally. I thought it was garbage.
I liked that it was setting up a whole new galaxy, all new ideas that it could have went anywhere. Kind of like what again Star Wars, what The Force Awakens did. It started basically fresh. It could have went anywhere and did anything and done some amazing stuff, but because the final product in Mass Effect Andromeda's case uh was on an old engine, it wasn't done correctly, it had bugs, and it was just meh. I
I
mean, the combat was good. The
Combat was good,
the
yes.
riding the car around was good. It had a lot of quests. It had varied planets. It had a lot of some activities to do. I don't remember if a lot or some, but it was enough.
The
Yeah.
game,
Uh,
the combat
it-
itself was great. However, I did not like the fact that they removed the ability to manually activate your companion's abilities. Like that was all automatic in Andromeda. Whereas I liked the tactical aspect that you could literally set your squad mates to not use it unless you tell them to, which was great on higher difficulties in the older games. So that you like if you came across a more difficult enemy, they didn't have like use their tech abilities on a random fucking grunt and not have it available
right.
for when you actually need it. Whereas in Andromeda they took away that option, which is a bit frustrating. But other than that, the combat was fine. But that is pretty much the only part of that game I actually liked. I thought the story was terrible.
I like the story. I like the idea of them being lost in a new
Oh,
galaxy and
I
having
like
to
the
find each other.
concept. The concept was great. I just thought the execution was terrible.
Didn't bother me at all.
And I
I
also
was
don't
never-
like. I also don't like that
Yeah.
we never
Oh.
got to see the other arcs because of the terrible reception of the game. And they just abandoned it and put it in a what was it?
Yeah. I mean, look at it this way.
Comic
Mass
or
Effect
something.
1, even though I liked it because, as Funky mentioned, I think it was yesterday, as Funky said, it was the most RPG out of all of them.
Yeah.
I liked 1, but when you compare 1 to 2 and 3 and where it went in, progression, 1 is kind of weak. And I feel like with Andromeda, it was going to be the same thing. They were going to take a look at Andromeda, take a look at what worked with the story, what didn't work, what worked with, the combat, what worked with this and that. And then when they go to the second one, it's going to get bigger and better, hopefully.
I agree with you, except
You should.
for one thing.
What's
I
that?
think quality-wise, 2 and 3 are definitely better. Like, if you say
2
no,
was
that's
flawless.
that is just a mistake. But I feel like one
Wait, what do you
still
mean?
had the maybe not the core story, but one still had the better storytelling because it was more of an RPG, obviously. But I think one still had the stronger storytelling.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I said.
Fair.
Well, good. Then we agree with each other.
But what I don't agree is this whole like comparing Andromeda to Mass Effect 1 when really Mass Effect 1 was kind of it had nothing before it. So whatever they were trying out was just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something stuck. Whereas Andromeda, they had the entire trilogy to pull from of what things worked and what didn't, and they still somehow fucking flopped the shit to bed with it.
They didn't somehow
Mm.
still. We know why.
Do we?
Yeah. Did you just completely forget the entire BioWare debacle that you mentioned just moments ago?
No
Them
BioWare
going
mentioned.
through their pride and
Yeah.
shitting on all the other B teams, C teams,
That was
and Elder
wild to
Scrolls
me.
team.
When I heard about them
And
doing that, I was genuinely shocked when when it came out, like the responses that the because it was the B team that was basically like sending them messages saying, look, we can help with this. We have experience with this aspect of the game that you're struggling with, and the A team was
Same
like,
with
no,
Anthem.
fuck you.
it was the
Same with
Elder
that.
Scrolls team. It was
Same
ZeniMax.
same with Anthem.
Or not
Literally, the
ZeniMax. No,
guys
not
from
Elder Scrolls. What the hell am I talking
the,
about?
the people from
Star Wars. That's what it
Star
was.
Wars were like,
Yeah.
hey, we have experience with this thing you're trying to do.
Mhm.
It's not really gonna work out. Let us help. No. You're not the A team. Fuck off.
Yeah,
And
like
the B
it's
team
such a
who was
Let
working
the
on
stupid
people that
fucking-
are in charge of an MMO with multiplayer stuff not give you advice on the multiplayer stuff if that's how arrogant you want to be
Yeah.
with
and
your own
the people
people.
in the B team who were working on Andromeda, they were at for as far as I remember, they were asking for help, asking for advice, and the A team was just like, "No, fuck you. We're
The,
we're beyond."
the quote unquote, as far as the rumors go at least, and somewhat of the Jason Schreier stuff, the regular devs and everything said yes, but the higher ups,
It was
I
the
mean,
upper management.
it's
Let's
the
be
ones
clear.
the ones
It was
it's
the
always
upper
a management
management.
issue.
wouldn't have any of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
They know
always a
exactly
fucking
what it
cocky,
needed to
arrogant
be.
asshole manager that's fucking things up for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a tale as old as time for when it comes to
Yeah.
the gaming industry. I mean,
Not
in
just in
multiple
general.
industries, but like at least lately, it's been a lot of the gaming industry's issues. Is that people get into management positions and then think they're untouchable gods, and it's like, yeah.
It's the Blizzard problem of thinking their developers were rock stars, and look where that got them.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I want to I want to circle back to Baldur's Gate for a second,
What?
just because of I've only just noticed this post that Koshi shared with us about the Nexus mod and
Oh, that.
Will's appearance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's already that guy's already getting shit on in the comments.
Oh, they turned the comments off. On
No, did they?
I've just had a look on. If you go to posts, there's only 2 posts, and it's been comments locked. So whatever the fuck that's all about.
Well, maybe you should tell the podcast listeners what it is.
All right,
So-
they took the only black guy in the game, made him white.
Yeah, they took.
Yeah, that's what it comes
for those
down
of
to.
you listening in who know who Will is, he's like the companion. They made a white skin for him.
quote unquote by popular request.
Oh,
which
I love
kinda
this.
doubt.
I love
Yeah,
this
by
crap. So
popular
the
request.
moderator locked the
Wild.
post, and there's only 2 posts by 2 people. One says, "Looks pretty good overall. I
Best
hope
mod
someone
ever.
can make a portrait." And "Best mod ever. Thank you very much." Meanwhile, the other 50 comments were, "Dude, you're racist, and what the hell, and what is this shit? And dude, get us off of here."
It's like,
Like, it's really.
on one hand, creative freedom. Do whatever the hell you want. It's a mod, and you can, if you want to be a dickhead, then fair enough, be a dickhead. But on the other hand, like, could you be any more openly racist?
I think it's. I don't want to go there. I think it's an innocent mistake.
Oh, it's
Where it's just
not
like, oh,
innocent.
I think I kind of like him better like that, and then just no clue of how it might appear. It's like, oh yeah, no,
I think
he sounds medieval, so I think of
I would like that to be the reason, but I do not think I do not think there's an innocence involved in this. I think this was very intentional.
I'm leaning more towards the never underestimate the stupidity of
Yeah.
people.
No, I think this was very intentionally done. I think this guy knew exactly what the fuck he was doing with this.
But yeah, the quote of by popular demand is kind of like,
Yeah.
Well,
that's the one where I'm going like, yeah.
one of the comments made on this mod was to check his other mods that he's put up, and I'm trying to find him because I don't know if he's like locked them or I have to go through all this crap to find him.
When he's,
But I forgot
user
I forgot what
files,
game
but
it is, but there was another game where he whitewashed somebody too.
Oh, okay. So if it's a pattern, yeah, no, fair. And if it was just like, oh,
Trying to
here's
find out
the,
what game it was.
and then like tomorrow he comes out with an Asian one, and then after he goes like, yeah, okay, fair enough, whatever. But
he's got
What game is this?
he's got a bunch of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous mods, but it's all just alternate port rates. I don't know what else someone was talking about, because these don't seem to be, because even one of them's another white guy at least.
I'm trying to find out which one it was.
I'm sharing it here due to popular demand. Like, a lot of these posts seem to have popular demand. I don't know who's demanding
okay,
this shit.
if
Like,
that's a running thing, yeah, then I retract my statement.
Well, here's a post for alternate Sela portrait. What game is this? Pathfinder.
Yeah, Wrath of the Righteous.
Could you please make portraits for the white characters that turn them black, please? I'm sure you will get even more endorsement and love for that.
And did he do it, or
Yeah, I don't know.
I
The
think
problem is,
I think they were making a stab.
I don't know what these characters were originally meant to look like, because I've never played Pathfinder.
Oh, this person was okay. So this character is supposed to be Chinese, and they made him white. I thought this was some Chinese release censorship. Nice mod though.
But they still look vaguely Chinese, at least. Just got
Vaguely,
pale skin.
like half Caucasian, half Chinese.
Well, she's got pale skin, but that's pretty much the only thing I can notice. Looks pretty Asian otherwise. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the comments are like really weird as well from pretty cringe people. So
yeah,
it seems to be attracting at least a certain crowd to it.
Yeah.
The Zion crowd.
What the fuck? He's not here. Fuck it, bash him.
Yeah, exactly.
What's he gonna do?
He's not gonna listen to this anyway.
Yeah, screw
He's
him.
dead.
Well, imagine it turns out he actually is dead. How bad would we feel? Okay.
Oh, I know our multiplayer game. Our multiplayer game in Baldur's Gate 3 would go a lot faster. Hope you're okay with controlling 2 characters.
I'll just pawn him off to one of you.
That would
What?
probably be for the best.
Why?
It already
Oh,
takes you
pawn.
days
Okay.
to
Alright,
go
fuck
through your
off.
inventory just for one character.
Yeah, and Zine can carry more. That's even more inventory space that I would need to sort through.
Yeah, I'll take Zion's character so I don't have to be thrown anymore.
How do you like that?
Or stuffed in his pocket. I I was still giggling away to myself last night after we stopped playing at the when we got to the camp and the cutscene was randomly started playing, and then it panned across. It just flicked across suddenly to your very naked halfling. And it just took me so out of the situation. It was unreal. It was so fucking sudden.
Yeah, I forgot she was
Yeah.
naked.
It's moments like that where I wish I had like some like shadow player running in the background where I could just like clip that last part, because that would have been great as like a content clip. That would have been funny as hell.
My biggest issue I'm having with the game right now is I'm on the cusp of dating. I started dating Shadowheart, and I'm on the cusp of dating Karlach, but you cannot date Karlach and Shadowheart at the same time.
Yeah, I think you can only romance one person in per
No,
playthrough,
there's
right?
No. There's
there's
options for more.
certain people that you can
Okay.
romance. But Shadowheart is one of the characters, one of the origin characters that does not like it if you
Sleep around.
yes, but you
Alright.
can go and sleep with the prostitutes in Baldur's Gate, and you can sleep with Mazora, the devil that holds Will's contract,
Don't
and she
know
won't
anything about
mind.
that.
But if you try to sleep with Karlach or anyone else, Shadowheart will tell you that she thinks they deserve you more, and that you should go to them, and then she'll break off the relationship. So I'm hoping someone will put out a mod where like I can date everyone at once.
Yeah, the biggest
It's just
slut mod.
I just want to get like the most out of my playthrough as I can, because as much as I want to go back and play like the Dark Urge, I don't know if I have the guts to do that though.
I 100% do.
Well, I felt really bad when my Lazel or whatever her name is, Laziel. I always forget how to say her
Lae'zel.
name.
Bazil.
Lazel. When she got murdered in my my game, I felt bad.
I thought you didn't like her.
I didn't. I hate her, but the way she went out was not cool.
Oh, okay. From what I'm gathering is she's the type of character that takes a while to, like, if you follow through with her story arc, apparently she like actually turns into a really, really good character. Some people are even saying
Yeah,
it's like she's got the best character arc in out of all the companions.
I've heard the same. I don't get it. I don't see it. And listen, you know, I just met you. I saved your life, and you're treating me like shit. I shouldn't have to go through another whole act just to get you likable. No, go to hell. I know it's not bad writing. It's just that's her
Apparently it's
character.
accurate writing, according
It
to
is.
the
It is,
other
but I just don't like
Githyanki
that.
or like that. They're
Like,
Yeah.
kind of cunts.
why would I ever be attracted to that? I wouldn't. So you can go to hell, bitch.
Funny
And I
because
never touched her
I
again.
want a romance.
But plus, it's like I'm dating a female. He who shall not be named. You know.
That's a long list, but I think I know who you're talking about.
Well, there's only one he who shall not be named in pop culture. That's pretty well known. Voldemort.
Oh,
During
They
our
literally
session
call
yesterday,
him that throughout almost all the movies.
Harvey Jackson Epstein.
during our playthrough yesterday, I was talking to Lae'zel, and the topic of noses actually came up between my character
Oh
and this.
yeah, you can ask that about that.
I didn't. She
It's a
brought
funny-
it up,
it's a funny
saying
one.
something about the noses, and my response was like, trying to like, because she was insulting my nose, so I insulted hers back, thinking, well, if she kind of enjoys, she probably seems to enjoy this sort of like back and forth bickering. She seems the type.
But then she
I
just
did-
ran into her tent
yeah.
and cried to herself to sleep.
Koshi, you
Yeah.
told me something about Shadowheart in the Goblin Camp. I did try that
Wait.
with a certain cleric in a certain part of the Goblin Keep, where it involves whipping.
Oh yeah. Did it work?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, we did it yesterday. Was
But-
it yesterday? But
Yeah, they're in the
Zion
Goblin.
kind of failed at it because he didn't have enough hit points.
I think it worked,
And
and I
Shadowheart
did
wasn't
get the
there.
dialogue. Yeah. Maybe you need Shadowheart there for it. I don't know. But it was
Probably.
quite funny. And then I went on a killing spree.
Of course.
You know.
Yeah, I know. I want the XP. Fuck these guys.
Yeah.
I want the XP. Like I'm Ganon's a loot whore. I'm an XP lore or a whore. I want
No,
all the
just
XP.
in
I want to be
general.
max level. I want all the spells. I just want to wreak havoc. And
You
let's
call me a
slip the
loot
dogs
whore?
of war.
Funky and Zion loot more than I do.
Yeah,
No.
but then they give you everything, don't they?
No, they don't give me everything. They give me fucking severed feet, bottles, rotten cheese, like all the junk crap that I can't fit in my goddamn
Well,
inventory.
that's what they
And then
picked
all of a
up.
sudden,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm fine on encumbrance, but no,
I
no,
send all of
I
the
go from
useful
half
stuff.
to full, all like, and I haven't picked anything up. And it's these assholes dumping crap into my inventory all the time. Pisses
I
me
sent
off.
the useful stuff to Goshi and Zion.
You're a dickhead. That's why.
Dude,
Well, you pick up all
you know
of
what
the
I got
useful
in
stuff,
mine?
so
No, I
so I
don't.
I got
gotta
a
spend.
whole.
I pick up things and I'm like, oh, this will be good for so and so, and I hand it to you, fuckins. You're not getting shit from me. Fuck you.
I don't want anything from you.
Good. You're not fucking getting anything.
And you
I
stole from Zion, so I had to send all my money to him as well.
I didn't steal from Zion. I took my cut for getting him out of the jail.
Yeah,
I
you
was
took
role playing.
half of his money.
I didn't take half his money. I took fucking like 50 gold or something.
You only
It
had
said
100.
106, and then he took up another 106.
What? No.
That's what it said in the log.
I mean, the log can say whatever it wants. I only took 100 or whatever. I took money from him once.
Didn't take money at all.
Why? I busted him out of the jail.
All right, so every time we get a res, you were gonna take money as well.
No, that's not in line with your characters.
How do you know?
Yes,
You don't
it
know my
is.
character. I literally perform, and I get paid for it. If I'm
Yeah.
going to perform, whether that's music or resing your dumbass, I'm going to get paid for it.
Every time you heal him, make sure to send the bill.
This is not going to
Because-
work, okay?
I mean, we can kill you,
Because the
so yes,
guy
it
who
is.
doesn't seem to care,
Huh?
you.
What do you mean?
Well, when it comes to us being a team, you got to get your money's worth. But when it's the other way around, all of a sudden, no, this ain't going to work. We're not going to be a team this way.
Yeah, and doesn't that sound very roguish?
I mean, he's got a point.
Look, there's a method to this madness, okay? Just fucking roll with it.
And
Yeah.
just get him the best. He's
look
got to
at,
get
look at the
best
bigger
gear.
picture.
Look, I just look at it this way. I stopped caring about this a long time ago. I
Oh,
look
yeah.
at it this way. If Ganon like it starts getting overpowered, or his character starts getting overpowered, that's fine, because that just means that I'm going to be underpowered and I'm never going to be able to perform. I'm always going to be the weak link. And when it's two of us, or three of us that start becoming underpowered, we're not going to get very far. The game's just going to get ruined, and then the role-playing drow is going to have to start, being a bit more fair.
Well, until that happens, I want you to shut your fucking mouth. Because it hasn't went that way so far.
And I just
Everybody's got
expect-
this thing in their head where it's like, oh yeah, Ganon does this. He's definitely going to be a cockhead. He's definitely going to play the.
Yeah,
It's
because
just like
you usually
so
are.
far, no, that hasn't happened. So shut the fuck up.
I
Tired
will
of
admit, it
hearing it.
really hasn't happened this game, but you can't, blame us when we've seen it countless times in Divinity Original Sin 2 and
And in
what the
other
fuck
games.
happened?
I mean, we didn't play that.
Yeah, we did.
Like
Yeah,
when
me-
I'm
me,
playing
you
a
and
game
Face
with
didn't, but you
Ganon
didn't
and
I didn't
it
play it
has
with
loot in
Funky.
it, I'm expecting to not get a lot.
The three of us.
I genuinely think that out of the group, I am the only person taking our multiplayer run in any sort of serious fashion.
I took it serious.
You literally just said that you stopped caring.
I stopped caring if I get
About the loot.
underpowered. About
You're
the
not,
loot.
but I'm not. I'm trying to not have you be underpowered. You're a fucking support character for the
I
most
know,
part.
and I'm saying in this game, you have been pretty fair. However,
Because I know
as
that
I was
if you don't get gear, and we come to some difficult fights, and you fucking die instantly, we are screwed. Your healing keeps us going quite a bit.
right, but what I was saying was, in this game, yes, you've been a lot more fair, but you can't blame us for feeling that way when we've seen you in the past do that sort of stuff. We did play Divinity Original Sin 2 together.
I wasn't like that in that game.
Yeah, you were.
No, I wasn't.
You and I fought over a couple of bows several times.
Do you know what the issue there is, though? Me and you, Koshi, tend to pick the same kind of classes.
No, I pick a
That's
class.
not true. No, yeah. Koshi
I
picks
pick
a
a
class, and
class.
then you pick the same class. Or the same thing with the same gear.
No,
I called out
okay,
Bard
sorry,
long before.
we gravitate towards the same type of characters.
That is true. That is true. I did call Bard out long before the game even was.
And that's fair.
Was way still in
Mhm.
early access.
And that's fair.
But
and that's
you
why I
picked
didn't.
Rogue.
And I didn't want to pick Bard. It's not really like Bard wasn't really a big thing for me anyway. But when it came to like designing the character, I didn't like consider. Oh well, I might be contending with gear, so I better not pick this. I just felt like, well, this seems like an interesting character concept, so I'll go with it. And I picked a drow, and then I was like, all right, what goes well with a drow? I'll try out either ranger or rogue. And I thought, and then I got this idea in my head was that I'll make her like some sort of like roguishly criminal character, and so I went with rogue over ranger. Because I thought maybe that would be an interesting, like, because I figured we probably would want someone who can pick locks anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really blame you for this one because I wouldn't have thought that Rogue and Bard were so close in like their gear and such.
It seems to be like rogue, bard, and ranger are like the super close to each other.
There are always usually 2 or 3 that are closely related.
But I will tell you this, Ganon, ever since I found out that they have a few utilities outside of combat that are pretty good, but when it comes to combat, Ranger
Ranger
is much, much better.
I've heard
I switched
Gloom. Is it Gloom Ranger?
Gloom Ranger.
Apparently they are like super strong. Like they're like if you wanted to like have an easier playthrough, that's apparently what you should be picking.
Well, they have a couple things over. Excuse me. They have a couple of things over Rogue, which don't make much sense to me. But for example, whereas Rogue, you can go hidden, stealth, and do your thing.
Yeah.
But as a Gloom Ranger, you can do the same thing with more advantages, and you can make the entire party stealth.
Rogue is it's D&D, so it's literally the stereotypical thing of hidden things and then doing massive damage, unless you pick the arcane thing, but that's kind of a later update. It's literally just the stereotype of get behind people, do major damage, and crit.
Yeah, that's exactly what it
Rogue.
is.
Which is what it technically should be.
It is, but like when I was playing my assassin, that's basically my only thing was just get stealth, get hidden, get behind someone, do like double damage. The thing is,
that's why I never picked rogues.
The thing I was finding out though, in majority of my combat, I could never ever get into hidden stealth.
It's very difficult to
it's
get
very
into, like,
very difficult to do
you can
it
get knocked out stealth so
the only time you can really ever do it
is potions and all of that.
Is either through potions or in the very beginning. And then you get one of the cool things about Rogue is you get a bonus to like basically you get to go and then you get to go again.
Yeah.
Whereas Rogue you don't get that. I'm sorry, with Ranger you don't get that, but with Ranger a lot of the mechanics that they have for their combat just seems to work a lot. You get more like I guess what I'm saying
bang
is
for your buck.
Yeah, with Rogue, you got that one thing. With Ranger, you got a lot more of that. And because you can go hidden and stealth as a Ranger, Gloom Ranger, you still get that backstab damage. It might not be 2 times, it might be like 1.5. But it's like I was watching Fextra Life, his video on what's the difference between Rogue and Ranger.
Oh yeah.
And first off, the best thing to do is go multi-class with Rogue and Gloom Ranger. But I didn't want to do that. I want to go all the way through and get like the cool spells towards the end. Because otherwise you're getting good from both or best from one.
Yeah.
And so I decided to go full through as just one class. And basically it came down like this. Your ranger is for backstab damage, hidden backstab damage, and for roleplay reasons. Sorry, rogue.
mean
Did I say
rogue, yeah.
ranger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did say ranger. I'm sorry. Your rogue is for roleplay reasons and for that backstab damage. Gloom ranger, specifically gloom ranger,
Yeah.
is for everything else. And as plain as, and I'll just say this to wrap it up because I've been talking for a while now. As plain as an assassin rogue, I was starting to get kind of bored. But when I switched to ranger, when did I do it? Tuesday night, I think.
Mm.
Combat has been so much more fun.
Rogue is the stereotypical rogue is just it's
That
a good opener, and then once you're out in the open and everything like that, it's just average.
yeah, pretty much.
Like it'll hold its own and everything. Like it won't be bad. It's just like the gimmick is up because which makes sense because of the rogue gimmick of being stealthily and all of that. So
I
it is
feel
what it
so
is.
I feel so strongly about that, Gannon, that next time we play, I'm willing to give you 100 gold to allow you to respec with Bonehead, so you can try out Ranger, and if you don't like it, switch back. You don't lose anything. Switch
Zen
back if you
already
don't
gave
like
him
it.
100 gold.
But if you
Maybe,
do like it,
but
I
as you
suggest
say,
you keep it.
I mean, maybe, but as you say, there is a roleplay reason to why I picked rogue, and I also I don't want to. One of the reasons I wouldn't want to pick ranger is because we would be competing over gear even more. Because I do want to find some decent melee weapons, because at least then, like, you'll be able to stay at range as a bard. Because if I go picking up more better ranged weapons, then you're gonna get like nothing. Because I feel like
Not
I'm probably
necessarily.
because I feel like I'm probably better in close quarters than you are.
Not necessarily. What I mean by that is when you pick Gloom Ranger, one of the attributes that you have to choose is you have 3 attributes you have to choose. Do you want to be a two-hander, like a two-handed weapon? Do you want to be ranged, or do you want to be dual wielding? And whichever option you pick, you get more proficiency in that weapon, i.e., attack rolls and defense. So like you could still do that and choose like if you want to dual wield weapons like a short sword and a long sword or a dagger and whatever, you can still do that and basically be a rogue. And then I can still do the range stuff because I can't take the hits you guys take anyway, so I might as well stay ranged.
But wouldn't I
I can't
lose
take
out if I go? Isn't that more combat oriented? Wouldn't I lose out on like persuasion checks and the other
That's
kind
what
of?
we have Koshi for. He's the bard.
no. Well, first off, I am the bard. I'm there for persuasion stuff because
But I am
you're never
also
gonna
a
beat my
spectant to
charisma.
that.
Yeah, but you're never gonna beat my charisma though. Like
I guess.
your two
His
things.
entire thing is around charisma.
Yeah, your main is Dex and then Con. Mine is charisma and then Con, and then Dex third. You're never gonna unless you're using like a super duper potion
If you're
or a
using
lot of
feats to
bonuses.
up your charisma and everything like that.
Yeah, you're never gonna beat my charisma then. But everything else, this
That's
was my main problem.
system wise, of course.
Yeah,
We're not
system
talking
wise.
role playing wise.
My main problem when the reason why I was hesitating switching to Rangers because I didn't want to lose the sleight of hand. I didn't want to lose the
Yeah.
you know the what is it, the investigation checks, which basically lets you notice things.
Yeah.
You know, and when I switched to Ranger, I'm still able to choose those as my main because I didn't go your traditional Ranger who has a pet, so I didn't have to put my attributes into those. I didn't have to spec into those. I was still able to pick uh sleight of hand, and I was able to pick uh investigation. And so basically I rolled my Gloom Ranger as a rogue. So he's basically a ranger in title only and in combat. But when it comes to the proficiency checks, he's a full-on rogue. When it comes to combat, with specifically stealthing, He's a rogue. Now the only difference is that my backstab damage with the same weapon as you have will not be as much as yours. And the only other difference is just base without any bonuses. My sleight of hand is +2, whereas your base is +3. Those are the only real bonuses or differences.
And
Okay.
he gets better dex bonuses for those as well.
Exactly. And since you're already a dex character, ranger is also dex, by the way. Dex and then con.
Oh,
Yours is
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I was thinking
you're
bard.
thinking bard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ranger is dex. They're basically one and the same. It's like the Gloom Ranger is a rogue. It's just that he lives outside, whereas the
Right.
rogue lives inside
And he
a
has a moodier
house,
character.
and he is a moodier character. I honestly think that you'll have more fun playing a Gloom Ranger than Rogue. Rogue does things well, but it only does a couple things.
I mean,
Ranger can do those, but they can maybe not as good, but they can do them.
you are, for the most part, this is not to convince you or anything. You can pick whatever you want. It's your character, obviously, but you are using bow for the most part anyway.
Yeah,
What do you mean? What?
You are using bow for the most part anyway.
Both what?
bow
Bow
as in bow
Bow.
and
Oh,
arrow.
or a
bow.
crossbow.
Okay. Well, yeah, because a lot of times we come into combat, it's like it would take me like a fucking half a day to get towards the enemy. By the time we've
I
started attacking.
when
Exactly,
I
but
spec
then what's the point of having a melee build if you're never gonna be a melee?
I spec'd into Gloom Ranger, and I took the dual wielding because I use a short sword and a dagger.
Mhm.
And I am able to basically attack twice every round. Now, and because I picked dual wielding, I have to talk a little quieter. Roommate sleeping. Uh, because I picked dual wielding, my character gets awesome rolls and proficiencies bonuses on dual wielding. But when I go ranged, my dex, because it's so high, because I'm a ranger, my bow damage is still really decent, and so is my bonuses to that. It's not as high as my dual wielding, but it's still high. So if you, who's a rogue, spec into melee, because you use dex, your bow is still going to be high, and if you switch to ranger, it'll be the same thing.
So why don't I just go use it as a dual class? Why don't I just pick up Ranger as well as Rogue?
You could,
Like we say, in the end, it's up to you.
yeah. But I just think you'll enjoy ranger more than rogue. But I mean, if you wanted to dual class, that is a very killable or killer thing to do because everyone suggests if you play rogue, you have to have Gloom Ranger.
I'll have a look at it next week then when we play. Like I don't mind trying out a little something. I was only sticking purely to Rogue just for the roleplay factor, but if I can go multi-class and pick Gloom Ranger on the side, I don't mind doing that. I definitely
What
don't
you
mind.
can do,
But as I say, my only worry with there was like I had the idea of maybe grabbing Ranger to begin with, but I didn't want to be contending on ranged weapons with you because then we're both kind of
Well,
'cause
let's put it this way: if a really good weapon drops ranged, Koshi has dips because that's his main thing,
yeah.
and then you get sloppy seconds for ranged.
But at the same
Unless
time,
depending on the level of how you go.
but at the same time, it's like it seems to be we've got 3 melee in the group, which is why I've been opting to do a bit more bow damage because then we've got 2
You can run
ranged.
a full party full melee. That's the
Yeah,
game
but
will
I
allow
like
that.
I get that we can do it. Like
Mhm.
it's not exactly hindering us at the moment. It's for the aesthetic, I guess. Or the versatility is that we try to get like cover all bases.
Well, I'm definitely
and
never gonna get
also
a ranged.
keep in mind also as a ranger, you're going to get a lot more cantrips and spells.
Yeah. Which
You are
might
gonna have to.
because you can be when you multi-class, you can pick you can still have the subclasses active, right? Hence why it would be Gloom Ranger and not just Ranger.
Right.
So I would still be an Arcane Trickster and a
If
Gloom
you
Ranger.
go if you go
Correct.
far enough levels, yes, because you would need to get to the level where you get to pick the subclass.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like multi-classing.
I don't mind.
It's
I don't mind that though.
it's fine. Usually, this is more just talking about the tabletop and everything, and also Pathfinder. So it's going to be more geared towards like level 18 to 20-ish. Like level 18 might be worth it, but then level 20 spell things usually just tend to be like one big powerful thing that you're going to use once, and then you're going to need a long rest and you'll never use it again. So specking into a multi-class where you get a little bit of bonus, it's mostly going to be damage, or so let's assume that you're going to get a little bonus damage, or you're going to get a advantage on your attack rolls, and all of that overall is going to be better for the game, while
You'll
you're
get
maybe
more
not
benefit
going to
out
do
of it.
the 100 damage on one hit that you're going to do once every long rest, versus doing 5 more damage on every hit that you get,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Overall, it ends up
Yeah.
being a more positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's usually the reason to multi-class.
Mhm.
Like for me, it's for my monk, it's gonna be barbarian 2 classes, because at level 2 I get to pick the actual berserker subclass, so I can just go fully enraged, do more attacks, have even better unarmed uh AC to help defend against myself, and just go ham every once in a while. And versus, I think the monk thing is like, yeah, okay, you do a bit more damage or something like that, because most of these tend to be to level 11, and then 12 is like, I think you get another feat or something like that. That's why with my sorcerer I went 1 level into bard, so I could perform a little, get a little bit of a extra bonuses in some other things, and pick some more dialogue options.
Mm.
Because the 11 one for sorcery is important, the 12 is not really that important. Like, it doesn't change much.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
just sent
in the end,
I just sent a couple
Yeah,
videos
I
in
saw
our
them pop
Discord
up.
channel. You don't have to watch them all, or any of them if you don't want to. But if you're still kind of on the fence, I suggest checking some of that out. Maybe just kind of, skipping through. It'll give you a better idea of what we're talking about.
I am
What
on the
I'm
fence,
talking about
but
anyway.
I'll try it out anyway, because that'll be the best judgment for me. Is rather than
yeah,
like hearing somebody talk about it, I'd rather just test it out and see how it goes.
yeah.
I've got a
And in the
feeling
end,
I'll
play
end
what
up
you want,
preferring it though.
I think Ranger as a melee build is extremely well done. I mean, if you think about it, uh Lord of the Rings, what's his face? Strider is a ranger.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, and throughout all 3 films, he pretty much only uses a sword.
Yeah.
for the most part.
I can't actually think of one time he did use a bow. Did he?
There's a couple
Yeah,
where
there's a
he
couple of
usually
very
when he's
brief
marching in,
scenes.
or when he's defending Helm's Deep and all of that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
And then
yeah.
he runs in with the sword. The classical hero shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you are correct.
I'll test out.
I think
I'll
at
probably
least
do
multi-classing
multi-class.
it won't hurt.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably the way I'll go about it. I'll probably just multi-class it.
Yeah. And then it just depends on whichever you like more.
Because I don't want to lose out on some of the little, like you say, the rogue has a little couple of things it does better, but like those
Yeah,
little couple of things are kind of
like
the fun parts of it. So
you could go rogue a bit to then sneak in and do like a massive hit on one, then disengage and run away,
yeah, and then pull out the
and
bow.
start ranging stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Depending on the situation, of course. But there's definitely ways to multi-class them.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is gonna be, and this is just between you two, Because you're both gonna be using the special arrows, though.
Well, I'm going to be ranged, so I might as well. If I'm going full ranged, I might as well have be the premier or
Yeah.
the first to have
yeah.
them.
Yes, you should be. You'll be getting dibs on special arrows, but like it's still good for me to carry some as well
Yeah,
because there's no harm
exactly.
in.
Like,
Yeah,
Because
I
especially
mean, I'm
if
not gonna.
if
not
you
gonna
like
take
60-40,
all of them,
60-40 kind of thing.
especially if we're working in tandem together, where you can
Yeah.
fire one element and I'll hit them with another that does like the bonus damage. Like we could definitely work
I'm just
together on that.
saying. Yeah, I'm just saying we're gonna if that's gonna be the case, we're gonna have to remind ourselves to send arrows to both of you,
Yeah.
whoever gets it.
But the one thing I don't
But
want
that
to
can be
lose out
between
on,
combat anyway.
the one thing I don't want to lose out on between me and Koshi is the moments in town or otherwise where Koshi starts performing and gets everybody's attention, and I'm running around picking pockets.
Oh yeah, and you know I'm picking up
love
all
that.
of, and
I
I'm
love
picking
that
up
thing
all of
between
the
us.
money they're leaving Koshi. That's partially one of the reasons why I went one level in bot for sorcery.
I didn't know that they threw money. I didn't know what that
Yeah, they do
performance
with little coins on the floor.
failed or performance succeeded
The
was, because
I
they
forgot
always
where.
just chair anyway.
Yeah, there was one in the Goblin camp, I believe, where you were playing, and literally next to Volo, and a bunch of the goblins were like, "Oh, this is much better than that other that blue-headed twat." And he's just, "Oh." That was hilarious.
Me and
Yeah.
Koshi are going to be like the dynamic duo in towns, just
And I'm just gonna be
swindling
sitting
people.
on a bench there and just
You'll
looking
be the
like
Batman and my Superman.
I don't know these people. Or just spazzing out with fire in my mouth.
My picture of Funky's character is like we're gonna get to later on, and my envision is just that he's like we have to constantly drag him off punching people because he's just like he's got someone pinned to the ground, he's just punching them to death, but he's because he's expecting the barbarian, he just won't stop.
Oh no. I'm not gonna go full on barbarian with the character. It's more just like I'm seeing it as like an explosion of like not so much rage in character wise, but just like he's going all out with his wuxia kung fu skills.
He's
There's
going Dragon Ball Z style.
He's hitting all of the combos and just kind of like killer combo, and that's it for like. And then after that, it's just all right. Now I need to rest again because my hands are tired, kind of thing. And then it's just like chilling out for the most part, just like oh god damn it. That's usually how I play my monks in tabletops as well, where they're just like the relaxing character that can kind of just like kick your ass if need be, because I did that a lot in Legends of the Four Rings, which is a samurai themed one, and I was among there, and we went to a bathhouse where obviously you can't bring your katana, but you can bring your wakizashi, but it is considered dishonorable if you were to use it. But me being the monk, I couldn't leave my weapons behind, so I just took them along. We got into trouble, at least the rest of the party, and they had to roll diplomacy, or whatever counted as diplomacy there, towards me to actually agree to fight people, because I was like, no, this is not right. We're in a bathhouse. I'm trying to relax. It's not my fight. It's not my problem that you guys started to pick a fight with these guys. And well, they did make the check, and then I pretty much beat up 3 people there, but not to sound like, oh, that was really cool, but because they couldn't use their katanas because they didn't have them in anything. So I was the OP character there for a second, because I was the only one with quote unquote full weapon gear. That's usually how I play my monk, just like, yeah, I'm just chilling here, just seeing whatever happens, and then shit happens around me and I gotta take care of it.
His whole idea
The aloof monk.
Funky's whole ideal is that people are like, "What about weapons?" He goes like, "I don't need a weapon. I am the weapon.
I have a pencil."
Yeah, I always saw it as I always thought the way Funky was gonna play his character was he was always gonna get drunk, and
See,
then
but they they never do it. They hardly ever do. At least in video games, they hardly ever do drunken monk.
I know, but I figured you'd still roleplay it, and then your character would always enter combat drunk.
I don't know. Is there?
Yeah.
I haven't actually tried drinking yet.
You can
Yeah,
definitely
there is.
drink booze.
When
I haven't done it yet, though.
When I took on the goblin camp, they were all slightly drunk.
I'll have to look into that, but yeah. No, I do like drunken monks kind of thing, but I'm just more the I like the stereotype of the old samurai or the old monk that is just suddenly can kick your ass kind of thing. I kind of like that vibe about monks usually. Obviously, since I'm role playing it, I can't play the OP character that does that, but kind of go off that vibe. Just like
Yeah.
yeah, and then just pow.
Pow.
Yeah, exactly.
Cha.
That's also the benefit of then I don't need to talk too much, so I can let the rest of the party get in trouble for talking. I'm like, yeah, I'm the monk, what are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna go with my begging bowl and beg for rice to poor people. So see you in an hour. Oh no, what did you do? You made the innkeeper pissed. Oh well, it sucks that I wasn't around. Dodged a bullet there. or just go full on berserker, because I in another role play I did kind of just like I hit it very well up until the fact that I just made, hey, I just pretty much just made guts from berserk. So yeah, if he splits your NPCs into half, it's I'm definitely not copying anything for copyright reasons. I'm just just doing it for the role play, and because fucking splitting people in half with a giant axe is also cool.
Just giant
As you do.
slabs of metal cleaving people in
Yeah.
two. Always fun.
Yeah. He literally got the nickname the Bone Splitter. It's literally because he would just like, oh, here's your spine. Well, here's one half and there's the other half. Here's and then because of the system, I was also just like very tanky. So let's say Zion were to try to push me with his character, which he's very good at, he wouldn't be able to do because it's just the mountain the skill is literally called, or at least the feature is literally called "the mountain does not move, and neither do you." It's like, nope, I'm not going anywhere. Which is, you get penalties for you're easier to hit, but you're also better at taking the damage, which is kind of fun. And then the gyms switched it up a little bit because it wasn't technically an L5R anymore, so the samurai thing kind of had to go towards fantasy, have it make more sense. So the honor got taken out of it because that's a whole thing in L5R, which is very fun, but not for fantasy games because you don't want to go. Well, you ate the wrong meal, so now you gotta commit seppuku, which is a thing in L5R.
The fuck.
Well, you're a samurai, so you're expected to uphold the virtue and honor of your clan and your and the samurai. So if you don't hold to traditional values that they used to have, like samurai could only eat fish and rice. So if you ate meat, that was because meat was considered for the peasants. So you dishonored yourself and your clan if you ate meat.
Cowards. Meat's great.
I mean, there are entire things where they actually do it and everything like that. But if you're in a if you're talking to the governor, it's probably best not to. Oh, hey, here's a nice burger.
It's
Unless
the
it's a
Chad
fish
move.
burger.
Eat it right in front of them.
It is.
Making
It is,
constant
but,
eye contact.
It
Making
is.
little
That's a
comments
mistake
like,
I made.
damn, this is fucking
Mhm.
good. So juicy.
Or you get like I was a Yojimbo with one character, which is pretty much a bodyguard, and you're not like, oh hey, if you're within you before combat you pick a character, and if you're within I think 3 meters of that character, you give your AC, so your armor to that character, and incredibly high armor because I'm a bodyguard, so it makes sense. And I chose to help out a friend, and he just kept running away. So every turn it was like he runs away, he gets hit, I run towards him, I take some more of the damage, he runs away again. I'm like, God damn it! I'm just trying to defend you. Just let me defend you. But he was the diplomat that just literally killed everything, and he became a half god because of a roll he made. Because I think in that game, it's D10s, and if you hit like 60 with your D10s, it's like, holy shit, this is amazing. If you hit 90, it's like, oh, you're gonna be legendary. If you hit 120, it's like, oh yeah, just make stuff up. And I think we helped him with the roll, so we kind of boosted it, and he ended up with like 165. And so in the next campaign, he's just like, oh yeah, and there's a new deity of this god that they're kind of like, he's their demigod of him. And it's like, oh hey, that's Kristoff, his character from the last campaign. Like, oh hey, he's the god of he stopped an entire war between two clans. It's like, yeah, yes he did. Just by gambling to some people. It was hilarious.
I've always liked the idea
Uh,
of people's characters getting essentially retired, but they become like a official part of the universe that whatever they were
yeah,
creating.
I
It's
know.
always
I
a
know a
fun
GM
part.
that does that really well, and I've never played it, but I've heard stories from a friend that does, and I think I've told this before, but not on the podcast. And they were the somewhat mostly goody two shoes characters because they were playing the were defenders part up. So every now and then there was a gray area, but for the most part they were trying to protect the realm, quote unquote. And there was an invasion of orcs and other clearly evil, and chaotic evil and all of that. And they were like, "Oh, this is where we make our last stand. There's people that need to clear this village and this castle, and we're gonna defend it until everybody is gone, and we're gonna try to hold them off as long as possible." They chose that themselves because the GM had other plans, but it's like, no, this is what we're gonna do. And so it's like, okay, that's what you want to do. Let's do that. And they made their heroic stands. They had one final wish that they could do. It's like, oh, this is your last hurrah. One of the gods is granting you a final wish to do whatever you please, but the GM gets to say no, kind of thing. Uh, and they chose oh yeah, okay, that's fine. We're gonna bless all of the all of the food and water in the realm for X amount of time, and that was the end of the campaign. And so, I think it was 100 years later, they start in a certain town with a castle that was rebuilt with a statue of their four characters, and they heard the tale of like, oh yeah, and these four heroes, they stopped the invaders, and while the invaders did set foot into the country, and they reached whatever the city was called again, but because they couldn't eat any of the food or it would hurt them, or they couldn't drink any, they all pretty much either ran away or starved to death. It's like
That's
that's their big
genius.
thing. It's like I was like, and they were remember it was like a big giant statue of like the typical think of the hero poses like of the four characters in the middle of that keep. I was like and I was like one of the places where people went to worship now. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's a nice wrap up of
That's
the
smart
previous
as hell.
campaign where yeah, I was like, yeah, nice, that's cool to hear. That's always fun. Or just old characters just visiting back.
Yeah.
Because I know one of my GMs, well, technically he's still my GM, but he has a kid now, so there's not much chance for it.
Ugh.
But he always
Imagine
has
that.
a recurring character, and out of character we know he's kind of like a planeswalker kind of thing. So he visits different realms and everything like that. But it's always
Yeah.
like the silly village idiot that just shows up and then secretly isn't the secret village idiot. But as soon as we hear that voice, it's like, okay, but our characters don't know, so we have no clue. It's like, okay, this is the guy that's accidentally gonna, if we're in trouble, that's accidentally gonna show up with a bottle all drunk and throw the bottle at the boss and throw off his head, kind of thing. If we're really close to a party wipe and the James isn't willing to start up an entire campaign again, that's when magically that character shows up. Or we're really stuck on a clue. That's, oh hey, there's a drunken guy that just dropped the paper or something that gives a clue that we missed. It's the same character in every roleplay, in every setting. It's like, oh hey, here we go. That's also kind of fun.
Koshi
But
is even there.
is he around? I don't know. He got bored of tabletops.
Koshi.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, there he is. You haven't said anything in a while. Do you have anything you want to say before we wrap things up?
No, not really.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
I guess.
It's very fun.
Okay.
YouTube updated some things. And since I don't have I don't allow YouTube to save my history, I don't get recommended it anymore unless I turn my history on since of yesterday. You're gonna,
Huh.
okay, fair enough. That's all.
We love YouTube here.
Yes.
All right. Let's wrap this up. I think we've
Yeah,
kind of just rambled on for the past 15 minutes or so
30 minutes.
about
Yeah.
D&D.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still topical technically.
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate is D&D, so
exactly. And it's still good, so try it out.
yeah.
Baldur's
Yeah,
Gate,
if you
that
if
is.
you haven't played Baldur's Gate yet, definitely go play it. It's a lot of fun. Although maybe
Goodbye,
play
Steph.
it solo if you're not wanting three other idiots to mess up things and launch you across into your other party members or kill you and put you in their
or
pocket.
keep you in your pockets. Yeah.
Shenanigans are afoot. Anyway, we're done for this week. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Seth, especially.
Yeah. Thank you, Seth.
Seth, you need to join us on one of these podcasts one week. We'd love to have you.
It was nice talking to you Wednesday.
It was indeed. We love hearing your sexy voice.
Mm.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Ta-ta.
Say goodbye, Koshi.
Are we live yet?
I hate this guy.